la 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 la.
Good morning, Grace.
Oh, well, good morning, Reverend Brandon.
It's such a beautiful day. I'm going to
Yes.
find it hard to concentrate on my meeting with the Higbert twins. They're due any minute now.
Oh, Phyllis is already here. Her sister had to stay at the drugstore to take care of things today. She got here a little early, so I told her just to go in your study and wait for you there.
Thank you, Grace.
Oh, I almost forgot. I need to call Martha and see how she's getting along. Hello, Martha. It's me. Have you got a minute?
Grace, as you may have guessed, is Reverend Brandon's housekeeper. Oh, Grace is such a dear person, but sometimes, no, all of the time, she has a tendency to mix up her words. Like right now, the phrase she has in mind is, "That's just the tip of the iceberg," but Grace will say,
Well, that's just the tip over the ice box.
"See what I mean?"
Your granddaughter did that? Oh, my. You ought to tell her that old saying, don't ever put anything in your ear except your oboe.
And never put anything in your ear but your elbow was, of course, what Grace meant to say. Oh, don't you worry about me hurting her feelings by saying these things. You see, she can't see me or hear me. At least, right now, she can't.
Well, did I tell you I bought that pure bed dog?
Pure red dog.
She's even registered at the American Kennel Club.
The American Kennel Club.
But if that dog were human, I bet she wouldn't even speak to me. She is such an aristocrat.
Aristocrat. Oh, aristocrat. Isn't it amazing what she can do without even trying?
What's the dog's name? Well, her real name is Eleanor of Tough and Veronica. Eleanor of Tough and Veronica. Oh, but I call her Eleanor of TV for short. Oh, I don't call her that very much when Reverend Brandon is around. You know how she's such a tickler for detail.
A stickler for detail.
But that dog is so wonderful. She's so patient and fur-bearing.
Fur-bearing. Oh, fur-bearing. Come to think of it, for once in her life, she's right.
Do you know what they call a lady dog, even one as nice as Eleanor of TV? A B-I-T-C-H. Now, I certainly don't think that's very nice. Oh, but enough about my dear little Eleanor of TV. Well, did the plumber get there and fix everything okay?
Goodness gracious, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Grace's fairy godmother. She can't see me or hear me, so you're probably wondering why I'm here. Well, it's because Grace has been so good. So outstandingly good all of her life.
Well, let me tell you, we have problems around here every once in a while, and we have to call the plumber, just like those witches say. What witches? Oh, you know those 3 witches that stand around that tub in that play by Mr. Shakespeare, and they're always saying, double, double, toilet trouble.
That'll keep the dear quiet while I explain why I've come to Grace's home today. When anyone has been as nice as Grace Jean Wilson, well, they deserve something special. In the AFGA bylaws, that stands for the American Fairy Godmothers Association, the bylaws say that for 30 minutes we can grant that person anything they wish. And Grace, your 30 minutes of wishing is about to begin, so hang up that phone.
Oh, hey, who are you and how did you get in here?
The fact is, Grace, I'm your fairy godmother, and I'm here to grant you anything you want for the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, sure, my fairy godmother, huh? Gonna grant me some wishes. Well, you don't look like a fairy godmother to me. In fact, you look more like a bride. Oh, you do have the godmother stick, but
Wand.
whatever.
It's a wand, not a stick.
Stick, whatever. But let me tell you this, when I came in here and saw you, you about scared the big cheeses out of me.
Scared the... Oh, never mind. The way you said it is better.
Listen, I don't know who you are, but I can tell you this much. When Reverend Brandon walks in this room, she's sure going to be surprised when she sees you.
Reverend Brandon won't be able to see me, nor will anyone else. Only you.
But Reverend Brandon is a minister, and if you're a fairy godmother, now mind you, I'm not saying that you are, but if you are, then she ought to be able to see you because she's a minister and you're from heaven.
No. I'm a fairy godmother. I'm no angel.
Whatever. Anyway, Reverend Brandon's in her office right now. Phyllis, whose some parents own the drugstore, came over to bring her some stuff for the pledge
Oh, I'm
dinner.
telling
and,
you, Reverend Brandon, the ideas you had for the pledge dinner are just going to make the entire evening so much better. So much
Come
better.
now,
Yes, yes.
come now. My only contribution was to suggest a few little extra touches.
Oh, but it's those little extra touches that make such a difference.
Well, maybe they made a small difference. But to quote Galatians 5:9, a little leavening leaveneth the whole lump.
Reverend Brandon, you're such a delight, and she's so witty, too.
Reverend Brandon is a bright delight. Like, delight is bright. Get it? Too subtle. Went right over their heads. But speaking about being witty, I bet Reverend Brandon's a lot wittier than that Beverly person people are always talking about.
Beverly?
Yeah, you know where they say, Beverly is the soul of wit.
The word is brevity, Grace.
Oh, I gotta say it again, Reverend Brandon. It's just such a pleasure working with you. Oh, just such a pleasure. And what's more,
Well,
I just...
now, thank you, and you're very kind. But I know you're very busy, and now you need to get back to your drugstore.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. Well, okay, well, goodbye, Grace, and goodbye,
bye,
Reverend
bye.
Brandon. Know what I forgot? I forgot to bring the changes for the menu design. No, now, Reverend Brandon, you must see them, but they're right down at the drugstore. I'm going to go right down there and get them. Now, don't you worry, because I'll be right back. Oh, so busy.
You know, I heard their grandfather made a fortune in that drugstore during Prohibition being a bootlicker.
Not bootlicker, Grace. Bootlegger.
Whatever. Anyway, you notice anything different?
Different?
Oh, never mind. Say, I got a good idea for that pledge dinner.
What kind of an idea?
Well, I thought everyone could sing songs to get a happy feeling. Jolly songs.
Well, Grace, I don't think singing songs would be quite appropriate for this occasion.
Oh, but there's one that everyone likes. It goes like, the possum's waiting for me and my gal.
Grace, the word is parson, not possum.
You know, Grace, if it were closer to Christmas, I think I would feel that singing songs would be appropriate.
Now, speaking of Christmas, there is something about that Rudolph song that's always confused me.
What's that?
Well, in the song, there's a reindeer named Olive, and I just don't remember any Olive being in that poem.
Olive.
Yeah, you know where it goes.
All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. I could just see that one coming.
Well, Grace, I don't suppose we'll ever know why they say Olive. But I do know time's getting away from me, and right now there are things I need to do in my study. So when Phyllis comes back with the menu design, you send her in.
I will, yeah. Well, it is getting close to lunchtime, and I'm getting a little hungry. I wish I had a sandwich or something. No, I don't really want a sandwich. I think just an apple would do. Thanks. I wish that apple, didn't I? Oh, look out there in the yard. There's that beautiful dog of mine under a tree. Looks like Eleanor TV's enjoying this gorgeous weather. When she walks, it's just like poetry in motion.
Pottery in motion.
Oh, I always get those words mixed up. But if she were a real person, I bet she'd be a real ritzy kind of lady. She'd be all dressed up in beautiful clothes. And I bet she'd like classical music. And her favorite would probably be, now let's see, what is that one? Oh yes, the Taco Bell Canon, indeed.
Actually, it's not the Taco Bell canon, indeed. It's the Taco Bell canon in Dee.
Whatever. Anyway, if she were a real person, not only would she be a pleasure to be around, I bet she'd really be nice too. Gosh, I wish she could be a real person. Hey, watch it with that stick.
Wand. It's a wand.
Oh, wand, stick, whatever it is. Oh, forgive me. I'm forgetting my manners. You gave me this apple. I didn't even offer you a bite. You want a bite?
No, thanks.
Well, how about some real lunch? How about a tuna salad sandwich?
No, really.
I guess tuna's just not your bag of tea.
Cup of tea.
Oh, you'd like a cup of tea? Well, I can go fix you one real quick.
Yoo-hoo, I'm back. Say, Grace, do you know there's some woman out there under that tree out there? Right
What do you
there?
mean? There's somebody
Yeah, right out there under that big tree, that woman, see her? All dressed up like some kind of society lady, or maybe even a movie star.
Oh boy, is that who I think it is?
Well, who do you think it is?
Well, did you really do it?
Did I really do what? And why are you asking me?
Oh, I'm not talking to you. Oh, Reverend Brandon said when you came back with whatever you're bringing to
Yeah.
her, that she'll be able to study. Just go on in there.
okay.
She's waiting for you.
Well, aren't you going to invite your you-know-who in?
Ella? Eleanor?
Oh, Grace, it's so wonderful to be able to really talk with you. You've understood so many of my barks and whines and wolves, and I've learned so much from you. Sit, lie down, roll over, stay off the furniture, and don't drink out of the toilet. So many things.
Well, you always learn so easily. It's just like you knew what I wanted you to do. Why, it was just like you had ESPN.
You mean ESP. And now, Grace, you've had your first wish. Eleanor is no longer a dog, but a real, live person.
Oh, boy.
See how easy it is to get anything you want? And you still have 22 minutes left.
Oh, boy.
You know, I've seen you someplace before. Not around here. No, not around here, but I've seen you someplace. Are you in the movies? Or on television?
As Grace would tell you if you ask her, I'm Eleanor of TV.
Ah, I knew it. I've seen her. Oh, yes, I've seen her. Oh, she's famous. She's really famous. Oh, yes.
No, she isn't her. A lot of people think she's her, but she's not her.
She's not really her. That's
No.
I am to her.
Sure, that's Eleanor of TV. That's who
See her.
what is her, that's her. That's her.
What? Oh, both of you sit down.
Okay.
Sit down.
All right, I did. All right, thank you.
When this conversation resumes, there will be no doubt in the minds of that dunderhead that Eleanor is on TV. What's more, Eleanor will believe, honest to goodness believe, that she's not only on TV, but is a famous TV personality. I just got this devilish idea. She won't really mean it, but Eleanor will convince Phyllis that she's going to be a famous TV personality too. When I snap my fingers, Eleanor will stand up like a real live person, and the conversation will begin again. This is such a fun job at times.
Oh, it's so remarkable to unexpectedly run across such a uniquely talented person.
Her? Me?
Oh, yes. There's not a doubt in my mind that you have the kind of voice and the kind of personality needed for television.
Me?
Oh,
Oh, I can't believe I heard that. Oh, just think of it. Just think of it.
I'm going to the kitchen and get me that cup of tea.
Oh, no one's ever told me I had a potential before. Oh my good. Well, now there was that one time when I was sitting there with Frida and we were with her husband. Of course, he's dead now. He's gone. He's a late husband. But we were watching that Kukula, Fran, and Ollie show on television. And he looks at me and he says, "Looks and sounds just like you." Well, I always knew he meant the dragon because I had those big old ugly braces on my teeth at that time.
I'm sure he meant the woman Fran.
You know, I could be on TV. Yeah. I could do commercials. Oh, I could do singing commercials. And you know, maybe in time, I could actually become an anchor person. This is Phyllis, your news person, saying good night and good luck. Oh, this is so exciting.
You know, your refrigerator's empty. Do you want to wish up some more food?
No, thank you. Well, what you just did certainly is a finger in your cap.
Feather in my cap.
Whatever.
Hey, if you're talking to me, turn around and look at me.
I shouldn't even be speaking to you. Aren't you ashamed of yourself making Phyllis think she could be another Barbara Walton?
Barbara Walters.
Not a bit. I have given her a happy kind of confidence in herself.
Well, maybe you're right. You're right if you're thinking about that song that says, I'm strong, I'm woman, I'm invisible.
Not invisible, invincible.
You know what I was thinking? Reverend Brandon could use some of that invisible confidence too. People all over everywhere ought to be able to see her.
But Reverend Brandon doesn't even like TV.
But everybody would like to be on TV.
Has Phyllis left yet? She forgot her purse. My goodness, who is this?
Pretend she's a long-lost cousin of yours.
This is Eleanor. She's a long-lost cousin of mine. I knew her mother very well when I was a child, and her mother was so beautiful.
Very good.
Yes, my mother was the most beautiful bitch that ever walked on 4 legs.
Hold it, Tom. Everyone will forget about Eleanor's last statement. How am I going to stop this same thing happening again? I know, have Eleanor think of something from her puppyhood? No, childhood. Like a song. No, she still reacts to some things like a dog, and if she starts to sing, she'll probably start howling. Oh, I know. Have Grace interrupt when she mentions her mother and remind her of her grandfather.
This is Eleanor. She's a long-lost cousin of mine. I knew her mother very well when I was a child, and her mother was so beautiful.
Yes, she really was. My mother was.
And her grandfather, he was such a nice man.
My grandfather was the nicest son of a...
Hold it, people. Okay. Forget about Eleanor's genealogy. Grace, change the subject. Remind everyone about that fuzzy-brained pharmacist.
Eleanor, Phyllis thought that Eleanor, she recognized her from having seen her on her TV program.
You're Reverend Brandon, of course.
Well, yes. I must apologize for not being aware of who you are. I don't watch much television. Now, I make it a point to watch the political conventions on TV.
I remember that convention that we watched not very long ago, and you said that thing about buffaloes.
Buffaloes?
Yeah, you know, what was it you said? Oh, I know. Politics makes strange buffaloes.
What I actually said was, oh, never mind. Getting back to our conversation about television, I hope this won't offend you. I just don't care for what they show on television these days. But I suppose Grace has already told you I feel this way.
Yes, but television can be used in a positive way that is helpful. The kind of guidance that a minister like you could give them.
Oh, here, let me have that purse. I know that Phyllis left this here, and she's not been gone long. I'm going to see if I can't catch up with her.
I'll come along. You got 12 more minutes left.
Oh, what a pity.
A pity?
Oh, I was just thinking, what a pity that a minister like you isn't on television. You have so much to offer.
I must disagree with that. Oh, I should have mentioned it before. Won't you sit down?
Oh, no, I'm not allowed on the furniture. I'm going to show you something. We're going to pretend that this is a TV camera. Now, I want you to start talking to me.
Start talking to you? About what?
Just pretend you're delivering a sermon to your congregation.
I'd feel foolish doing so right here, right now.
Oh, humor me.
On this beautiful Sunday morning, we are gathered together to participate in a time of reverence, a time of sharing, and perhaps it is also a time to reflect on our life, as it is, as it has been. And maybe we should also look toward what we could bring to the remainder of our life. What choice do we have? Every choice, for the choice is truly ours to make.
Oh, do you doubt the sincerity of the person whose face you see?
No. Oh, very well then. Perhaps it's something I will consider, just in case.
I would hope so.
She'd gone too far and I couldn't catch up with her.
Oh, there you are, my dear. We were just having a very interesting conversation. Not that anything will ever come of it.
Well, you never know. I wish I had a fairy godmother who could do something about what you've just been talking about. I really do wish that.
Hello, I'm back. I forgot my purse, and I just have to.
Grace has your purse.
Oh, well, here's your purse, and I know you're busy and you need to,
No,
to go
I
on
just
back.
had a wonderful idea.
That must make it one in a row for her.
It's about television and medicine in our drugstore course. Because everybody takes medicine, you know, they all do. And it's going to be my television show. And I'm going to call it the RX-rated Phyllis Show. And Frida will be on it, of course. And we'll get letters from people, and she'll read them, and I'll answer them. And, you know, something like this. Dear Pharmacist Phyllis, I have this big lump on my head. What should I do? And I'll say, well, you could wear a cap. I gotta be serious. But I'll say, well, dear lady with a big lump on your head, you should go see a doctor because doctors prescribe medicine for people with big lumps on their heads and just all kinds of stuff like that. And we would fill the prescription just like they taught us to at the Pharmacist Learning Place.
The pharmacist learning place.
And you know, I could do commercials too. Oh yeah, I can do singing commercials like, when the doctor prescribes pills, they will cure you of your ills. So be sure you take them all, or into the grave you will fall. Take your pills, they will cure you of your ills. Take your pills, or if you don't, make out your will.
I bet you made that up yourself, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
I'm sure she did.
What'd you think?
I'm at a loss for words.
Dad, yeah.
Eleanor's going to have to be leaving pretty soon, and I'd like some time with her, just the two of us.
Oh, well, oh, yes, sure. Well, okay. One more time, but you'll get back to me.
Yes.
When the doctor prescribes pills, they will cure you of your ills. So be sure you take your pills, and if you don't, make out your will.
Oh, Grace, this is one morning we won't soon forget. And I must say, it was such a pleasure meeting your charming, long-lost cousin. Thank you.
You do know that you're going to have to...
I'm going to have to change back. No problem. After seeing what it's like to be human, and humans have to spend time with people like that ha-ha girl, I'll be glad to go back to being a beautiful...
a female dog, but lady or lady dog. Either way, I love you.
As you would say, Grace, whatever.
Well, you have 1 minute left. Time for a couple more wishes.
I wish that Eleanor is a dog again. And you know about Reverend Brandon and being on TV and Phyllis singing those jingles and doing all that stuff. I wish that never happened.
You got it, kid.
However, I do wish that Reverend Brandon could be on TV. She is such a nice person.
You got it. Hurry up now. You have time for one more wish.
Oh, no, no more wishes. Everything came out all right, and I just want to stop now.
Why, that is the most straightforward thing I ever heard you say, Grace. But I think you could say it better than that. In other words,
In other words, I came out smelling like a roast.
like a rose.
And I know when well enough is alone.
I knew you wouldn't let me down. And if there is a moral to this little story, I guess we could fall back on that old saying, be careful what you wish for.
Because you may get it.